I often talk about this with people. You're familiar with the parable of like the monkey and the fish?
Maybe, I don't know.
The short version of the story is two monkeys are swinging along in the forest, and they come along a river, and it starts to become a kind of a torrential downpour. It starts to rain very heavily. And at that point, the forest starts to flood, and the monkeys decide to stay for the night and wait it out. In the morning, rain lifts, flood lifts, and the monkeys are looking around. They're seeing that everything has dried out, and they look in the river and they see a salmon struggling upstream. And they decide to hop down and say, "Oh my God, he got pulled into the river. He must need our help. Let's go ahead and help him out." And so the two monkeys, in their best intention, pull the salmon out of the river, and they drop him on a dry land. And they look at the salmon, and it's flopping and it's flailing about, and they go, "Oh, wow, he looks so excited. He must have really been struggling in there. We saved him." And as they're watching, the salmon gets more and more, less pronounced in its flailing. It starts to lie flat, and they go, "Well, it must have been so tired from all that swimming and dancing. It must be resting now. We should let it rest." And they swing off. And I kind of rely on that parable because it's a cautionary tale of the worst of good intentions. That while you may be thinking that you're putting forth a set of ideas in the service of a group, you may inadvertently not understand their context or the climate in which they exist, and are putting forth things that aren't even of benefit to that individual at the individual level. To some degree, I think this movement, if you will, the critical social justice movement, in the aggregate, may come from a good place, but unfortunately, because of its dogmatism and its lack of flexibility to really difference of interpretation, it's actually more susceptible to being more like that parable than it is of helping anyone at present. A good set of ideas that's going to be of use to anyone is going to have there are going to be counterbalancing forces built into the narrative that allow you to alter and change depending on the case and the circumstance. But this set of ideas so far hasn't really provided any room, as we were talking about today, to have a counterbalancing narrative or to have a separate or different belief about a certain circumstance, because to have that separate belief is fraught and it's frowned upon in some circumstances. So my question becomes, how are we going to balance out the equation if we can't talk to each other?